Welcome back to the Broad Street Boys, and today we're talking straight birds, straight Eagles. We got all the Sixers stuff out last week. We were on to the Eagles on to week 10 already. I can't believe we're already in week 10. I feel like that's crazy. Coming off a bye week, coming off a big win against the Giants, coming off one of our better complete games finally. So I'm excited to talk about that. I'm talking about the trade deadline. I'm talking about the moves, how he is just working, probably what his thought process is behind just about everything. The play of Jalen Hurts, Saquon, but you name it. But first, I think I'm going to talk about the trade deadline. The trade deadline was, I feel like he did. I did not. I mean, yes, I thought Howie was going to do something, but I was more the amount of moves that surprised me than the like the quality. Like I had a feeling we were gonna go after probably Jalen Phillips. That was to me that was expected. I was thinking Jalen Phillips. I was thinking he actually tried Miles Garrett. I feel like I've talked about how crazy Miles Garrett would be. How we tried so hard that he was gonna go 3 first round picks and the Browns still wouldn't take it, which I get. Like they just signed him, but at the same time, if Howie gave up 3 first round picks, I don't know how I would feel, because that is literally our entire future that he's trading away. But at the same time, if he did, I'd be like Miles Garrett. We would probably win another Super Bowl if we got Miles Garrett, which is probably what Howie's thinking is. Which honestly makes sense to me. But honestly, Jalen Phillips is a great backup option, and I can't believe he's even a backup option. Um, but yeah, Jalen Phillips for what, a third round pick? That's a win if you ask me. Jalen Phillips only 26 years old. That I didn't realize. I thought he was a little older. Yeah, he's not. He's 26 years old, probably even approaching his prime if he's not already there. I feel like I feel like that 25 to like 28 or 29 region is like our perfect like that's where our team like ages wise wants to be and health wise wants to be within that, and he fits in there perfectly. If anything, he's actually on the younger end, which is an absolute win if you ask me. Didn't expect them to go after a a solid corner like Jair Alexander, and listen, you could say all you want about Jair Alexander, right? Like obviously he was multiple healthy scratches from the Ravens, didn't really play well. He could be hurt, could not be hurt. Like who knows? I like the move. It could be a very much like just give him this year and then we'll see what happens next year, whether we release him, trade him, whatever. Um, so that's one thing I'm like fine with. I will say he has been pretty bad, and I will admit that. But he was basically free. Like what? We give up a 6th round pick. Like that's fine. But I kind of like the idea. The idea is that our current guys are either hurt or not good. Key Ringo hurt or not good. Adoree Jackson hurt. Like it's just it makes sense. That's all I'm gonna say. It makes sense. And then I also like the Michael Carter pickup from Jets. Um, Not a very high price tag. A younger-ish player, but in his prime. Um, I like it, and he's a really good nickel cornerback. But I think they're gonna play him more at safety, next to Blankenship, because obviously I really think they got him. So then, listen, I like Andrew Makuba, and I really like that he's young, he's a rookie, he's going to make rookie mistakes. And I feel like he almost peaked a little too early. Like he played really well in the first 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden he's blowing coverages. So that's I think not a replacement, but like somebody where you can platoon him and just ride the hot hand type of thing, which I don't mind. And that also solidifies DeGene to literally just the nickel and not to go outside, not to go um, to the safety position just to stay at nickel, which I like a lot because, I mean, call this a hot take, but I think Cooper DeJean is the best nickel in the entire league. I've never seen a nickel in his second year tackle as well as Cooper DeJean has, or read coverages as good as Cooper DeJean has. I've been really obviously I've been impressed. Of course I have. I mean it's Cooper DeJean. He's like Philadelphia's baby right now. I love that guy. But yeah, he's just been so good, and I feel like these moves kind of solidify his spot to be the nickel safety and no one else to be doing anything. Honestly, so like yeah, that's one thing that kind of came across my mind. Um, so those are kind of like our major additions on defense. And kind of just to talk about our offense. Our offense, I thought again, it is the Giants, and yes, we blew them out, and yes, Scadaboo got hurt in that game. Off of a hip drop tackle. Yes, like I will acknowledge, but our defense looked awesome. Our offense looked amazing. I was really impressed with just everything that happened. Saquon running it all the way. What was that? 75 yards on the first or second play of from scrimmage, and that's fantastic. He might be back. But then even how like Jalen's calling plays and calling audibles and all that stuff. I think he's playing better this year than he played last year, and like sure maybe it's not like that in like the record, and I feel like we have the same record as last year, but we're obviously not as hot as we were last year. But I like how Jalen Hurts is playing. I feel like it's a luxury almost to have a great quarterback. I would call Jalen Hurts great. I don't care what any of you say. That doesn't really turn the ball over. And yes, you could spin that to be like he's not taking enough risks and he's not pushing the ball down the field. But at the same time, would you rather a guy on one hand push the ball down the field, throw 2 to 3 interceptions a game, but get more yards, and probably lose the game because of those 2 or 3 interceptions? Because then you give the ball back to the defense. Or would you have a dude that wins and that is very risk adverse and doesn't like to turn the ball over and doesn't really turn the ball over at all, and then just makes the right decision, whether that's checking it down, whether that's doing anything along those lines? I would rather the dude that doesn't take as many risks. The other guy is basically Carson Wentz, and I respect. Hey, listen, Carson's a legend. We know this. But Carson Wentz takes stupid decisions, and we saw that in the Minnesota game. Versus Jalen Hurts, who just kind of lets everything come to him, and sometimes it is not great because then he gets like sacked or he holds onto the ball for too long or whatever. But at the same time, it also works by letting the play, develop, and then him seeing all the routes and letting it go. So I really liked the work from Jalen Hurts, and I feel like recently, or at least in that game against the Giants, again, I'm gonna keep on saying it, but like I am basing a lot of this off the Giants game, and the Vikings game, but like, and yes, it is the Vikings and the Giants, and I will acknowledge that. But I will also say that I've liked the play of the offensive line in those two games as well. Um, we've gotten a little more healthy, and I feel like this bye week is just gonna get us even more healthy. I don't even think Cam Jurgens was that healthy, and earlier in the year he might play this weekend or on Monday. So we'll see about that. But I feel like Dickerson being healthy now is huge for the Eagles. So just another thing that I'm kind of thinking of, and another guy that I've been like way more impressed about for sure is Devontae Smith. I think Jalen Hurts is kind of not saying like F AJ Brown, like I'm not throwing the ball to AJ Brown, but like if AJ is not open, then he's throwing it to Devontae, and we really saw that in the Vikings game where he had a career high in yards. So that's something that I really like to watch because Devontae Smith would be a top 10 wide receiver without AJ Brown. Um, that's just my opinion. I think, yeah, I think so, because if he's getting this amount of targets and catches with AJ Brown, and AJ Brown in my head is a top 5 in my opinion. When he's actually having the ball thrown to him or whatever, I think he is top 5. But you take out AJ Brown, and I think Devontae Smith definitely cracks that top 10 because I think he's already like top 15. But I definitely think he's top 10 if you take AJ Brown off the field, which is good because I mean, if AJ's hurt or something like that, it's really nice to have a second option like that. I think these past few years we have, how do I say this? I feel like the importance of Devontae Smith has been kind of under the table. Like no one's really thinking about it, but I feel like now we're finally seeing it, and he's finally like, you're like, oh my God, Devontae Smith is that guy. He's awesome. So I've been really impressed with his play, along with, I'm surprised I'm saying this right now, but like the Dallas Goedert play as well, I've really liked. He's just been really impressive, whether that's blocking, whether that's running down the seam, just looking really good, and I'm just overall impressed, honestly. So yeah, I'm impressed with all those guys. I'm impressed with everybody. Yeah, so that's definitely what I'm thinking. The defense has gotten better. Someone I'm not really impressed about is Jalen Carter. I expected Jalen Carter to be more, I think impactful is the right word. Like you don't need to be like 3 sacks a game type of thing. Like that's or like a sack a game or even. But you have like what 2 or 3 sacks on the entire year. And yes, you were hurt, and yes, you were thrown out of a game, and sure. But like even when he's in, he's getting beat off the line a lot. I mean, obviously he's getting double teams, but he kind of got double teams last year. So I don't really know what's happening with Jalen Carter. I feel like he'll figure it out eventually. Um, or at least I hope he figures it out eventually. Because he is just a physical specimen. But that's definitely one area that I want to see improved, and I feel like they're really trying to improve it with Jalen Phillips. And I can't believe I've mentioned this in 10 minutes, but Brandon Graham is back, and I feel like that's also going to help with leadership. And I think every intangible off the field, Brandon Graham's going to help. And maybe BG gets like what 3 sacks within these next 7 games. So like I would love that. But I feel like he's more there as like a coach and to help a little more. But like I'm cool with that. Like, and if Brandon Graham feels like he wants to come back and his body's okay to come back, then that's all I really care about. And where I kind of come down with Brandon Graham is like I wasn't a big fan of it initially because I'm such a big fan of Brandon Graham. Like not even just the player, but like the man. Like I am really a fan of like his personality. Again, like I just said, all the intangibles. I'm such a big fan of Brandon Graham about. And I don't want him to like hurt anything. That's honestly why I was like annoyed initially because I was like, oh, like yay, but like please don't get hurt. Like I don't want you to get hurt. Um, so that's something that I'm definitely considering in my head when I had that, and I was like, this is weird. But the more I think about it, I'm like, it's more for like help in general. I wouldn't be surprised if he re-retires, obviously, but then comes back as like a coach of some sort or is involved in some sort, maybe a little more than Jason Kelsey, because Kelsey comes in like the offseason training camp. I've seen him and he like helps obviously, but I feel like they could seriously sign Brandon Graham to like a real like D-line D-edge coach, which I would love because I again I feel like it's that leadership and that leading by example type of thing that I feel like is way more important than what we think, especially with I feel like this isn't crazy to say, but with a immature type of line with Carter on there. Like I'm pretty sure we're leading the league in taunting. I feel like Brandon Graham will help that for sure, and that's something that I'm honestly excited to see like his impact overall. But I feel like as I kind of got to that point because I feel like the defensive line did need some help, and they definitely got some help with Jalen Phillips, who's a stud. I can't wait for everybody to see Jalen Phillips. He's a stud. And then Brandon Graham, who will play, and Jalix Hunt has also gotten a little better, thankfully. And the window for Nolan Smith has opened back up, so he's going to play eventually. We'll see how much he plays against the Packers. I hope it's a full menu, but I could fully see it being only half. But that would make sense. He's coming off an injury, so like I wouldn't be annoyed about that. But then he'll come back the week after. So that's kind of my thought about the defensive line. I feel like our linebackers have gotten really good as well. Obviously, you got the bald eagle, Zach Bond. But at the same time, I feel like Nakobe Dean has looked so good since he's come back, in a weird way, I kind of feel bad for Jahad Campbell because Jahad Campbell, when Dean was out, was literally one of the best players on the field in the first whatever weeks before Nakobe Dean came out, like making plays all over the field, flying around the field, like even like making like quarterbacks like rushing the quarterback, like he's looked awesome. But then Dean came back, and I personally was like, okay, let's see what Dean does. Maybe they'll split. But Dean has played so well that I don't see a reason why you put Jahad like back like as the like downfield linebacker. I feel like you could see Jahad Campbell at the edges if somebody needs a rest, and I feel like he will go like next to Zach Bond eventually. But yeah, I mean, when have I ever said, or have any of us ever said that? Oh my gosh, the Eagles have depth at linebacker. But it's a great luxury to have. But I just kind of feel bad for Jahad Campbell because like he didn't play bad, or he didn't really get outplayed. But Nakobe Dean has played so well that I guess he has got a little outplayed. But like in a way, I really hope Jahad Campbell takes this opportunity and is like, yo, I'm gonna try to beat out Nakobe Dean, and then works even harder. So that could also be an angle. That's the angle I'm taking for me personally. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I'm just moving, position to position. But then our safeties have really got short up with Michael Carter. Should be good. And at least I hope that kind of lights a fire under Andrew Makuba, because then Makuba's like, oh, he's trying to take my spot. Like let me work even a little harder, and I feel like that could be good for him. And plus, I love a good platoon with, like, depending on a certain look, or if they think it's a running down or whatever. I don't mind it at all. So I feel like the safety position I feel more comfortable, and then Reed Blankenship. And then our corners I feel a little bit better about now too. With Jair Alexander. And then they keep Stitching in the nickel, which again, like I just said, is fantastic. Yeah. So now looking forward to, like, the Packers this Monday. This should be a one hell of a game. I People are going to say that the Eagles are going to blow them out because they just lost to the Panthers. I'm taking the angle that they're going to be pissed that they lost to the Panthers. Um, and the Packers really don't like us. I feel like I've seen a few reports from, various people, um, that the Packers think that they should have beat us in that playoff game in the link, when that was one of the I was like such a frustrating, like, game to watch, I guess. I remember vividly being like, wow, we're gonna lose in the first round after a hell of a season, and then we ended up pulling it out. But I've seen a lot of things that the Packers are taking, like, the Rams approach, and really just thinking like they should have beaten us, type of thing, which is like fine, but that means we're going to get their best game, and they're currently coming off one of the bigger disappointments of the entire season for them. So I think they're going to come in, like, pissed. But at the same time, they do have injuries, like Tucker Kraft being out for the entire year. That's a huge deal. So we're going to see a lot of Musgraves. We're going to see a lot of, different looks. I think we're going to see a lot of Josh Jacobs. Honestly, because of the lack of wide receivers too. Because think about it, like, their number one wide receiver right now is Romeo Dobbs, and Matthew Golden just got hurt, and Jade Reed's been hurt. So I mean, in a way, I do feel bad for them in that they are hurt. But at the same time, their defense is really solid. It's a really solid defense, and I saw it's going to be really cold in Green Bay, which I feel like that also plays to our advantage. But I need to see us. If there's going to be one key to the Packers game, I need to see us run the ball, and not just run the ball. I want to see us run the ball with consistency, and I want to see it over and over again, similar to last year. Because again, it is going to be cold, and then sometimes you do have to play to the conditions. And I need to see a healthy offensive line, just moving people, and I need to see Saquon with at least 100 all-purpose yards. That's my ideal type of game for me coming up here. I do think it's gonna be a great game, though. I feel like the Monday night games recently have not been great. So I'm definitely excited to see a fun Monday night game. I am definitely excited for that. I'm hype. It should be a fun one, especially in Green Bay. Green Bay is such a listen. I mean, I don't like Green Bay because they wanted to outlaw the Tush Push, try to do it by themselves. But I will say their fans are legit, and that environment's legit. So I'm honestly excited to see that game. And it's also a good test for the Eagles. These next few weeks for the Eagles are tough. You have the Packers, and then you have the Lions in there, and then you also have the Bears coming up on Black Friday. So it is tough. The good thing is about those three games against the NFC North is that two of them are home. The Lions one's on Sunday Night Football, and then the Bears one, like I said, is on Black Friday, which should be fun. Like all three of these games are fun. But at the same time, I need to see us win two out of three. I would love to see 2 out of 3. That would make me happy, and I feel like that would make a lot of Eagles fans happy. Like if we lose to the Packers or the Lions, like, that's fine. But I would like to beat one of those, and then, like, if we lose, then it's fine. I think we'll beat the Bears, honestly, but I think the Bears are sneaky. Because listen, they might not have a good defense, but Ben Johnson is a magician for an offensive coordinator, and we all know that. So that's something I'm pretty excited for. But yeah, eyes on the Packers game. I'm excited. Again, this is the thing I'm going to finish with here, but I need to see some, rushing plays. I need to see dominance similar to that Giants game. I need to see. I just need to see dominance at the line of scrimmage. That's the area that I feel like we've been getting crushed in. And that's not what we're typically used to as Philadelphia fans. We're typically used to doing the crushing, whether that's defensive or offensive. And I feel like we've been getting crushed in both ends, which is uncharacteristic for the last few years. So I feel like that's my key, is to win the line of scrimmage on both ends. I think if we do that, then I feel like we'll have a really good chance with the Packers and moving forward as well. And again, I'm gonna keep saying it: run the ball. And I don't know, maybe push down the field. We'll see. But listen, believe in Jalen Hurts, believe in Saquon. Hopefully, Kevin Patullo puts together a good game plan, and hopefully we'll beat the Packers. We'll see. But am excited for the Monday night game. That is where I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, consuming everything. I appreciate it. I think either next week or the week after, we're gonna do a little Phillies off-season breakdown of what me and Caleb want to happen. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna reach out to him soon. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Check us out on all of our social media, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and then thanks for consuming on YouTube or Spotify here. But yeah, thank you so much. I will see you in the next one. Go Birds! Beat the Packers, baby. Let's go.